Toxic exam culture, toxic comparative exam culture in India. You have so much there. I mean, so much negativity around all of that. And one of the things that is just very sad, very disturbing to think about
Yeah.
is the number of kids suicide.
Yeah. So
What do you think about this whole entire situation that
I
our country
think
is in, not just our community?
exactly it is not specific people. It is just the state of whole Indian youngsters who are trying to be engineers,
Our
doctors.
youth, yeah.
Yeah, our youth, which comprises our youth makes the most part of our population, and it is depressing to see how many student suicides occur every year,
Yeah.
and the statistics say it is only going downhill. So when it comes to entrance exams, first of all, they are very competitive, and even parents get into this toxic mindset that their kid should go to IIT, their kid should go to this particular MBBS college, or whatever. And I think it puts the student in a lot of pressure that he or she is not particularly equipped to handle at such an post adolescent age, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and these kids are mainly in 11th and 12th grade. So I have prepared for IIT JEE, and I have been in a coaching class, and I have seen how the coaching culture goes,
Yeah.
what kind of students are there, and what kind of things they think about on a daily basis when they are in this
Space.
competitive, in this space and in this competitive exam culture. And for that reason, particularly, even my professor knew about this kind of culture. So
Your teacher in JEE,
yeah,
the coaching classes?
in my coaching classes, and he used to allow us to have fun. He used to sometimes stop teaching and just allow us to have some singing in the class,
Yeah.
because he had
Yeah.
taught in Kota, which is also a hotspot for coaching classes in India, and also apparently now hotspot for student suicides.
Mm-hmm.
And the main problem about these suicides is that when these students go through a difficult phase, they have no one to talk to, because they are either away from their parents, or their parents just don't listen most of the times, which is another topic and another problem we can talk about some other day. But they are just not equipped enough mentally to handle these negative emotions that come so easily.
Mm-hmm.
A student can feel negative and anxious before a coaching class a coaching class test, which are often held on Sundays. These students don't even have Sundays to rest a little or get enough sleep.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things wrong with this whole thing, but we are all sort of victims of this culture. And even I've was at a moment. I used to be quite negative about. I used to think bad about myself. I used to think like I'm a failure, and
Judge yourself pretty harshly.
yeah, I used to judge myself self pretty harshly. And it is quite confident to talk about this in a podcast, but this is what so many students go through, and this goes unseen,
Yeah.
because these students don't know how to talk about it. I mean, the other day we were talking about masculinity,
Yeah.
and how from kids we are as in a community, or
The men usually.
the men in
The
general,
messaging we receive as
Yeah.
men.
like, don't cry,
Yeah.
crying is for the weak,
Be strong.
or be strong,
Make
or
money.
क्यों रो रहे हो लड़की हो क्या?
Huh.
I mean, that is a sexist remark.
Extremely, yeah.
I mean, I know women who are strong who don't cry. I mean,
But even the language we use right now.
yeah,
I know women who are strong who don't cry, implying
Yeah.
that not crying is
yeah,
strength. So it's that implicit.
yeah. Even in general talking, we associate crying with the sense of weakness.
Hmm.
It is not a sense of weakness. It is also a sign of bravery.
Yeah.
You can be brave and you can cry.
Exactly.
You can sometimes cry just because it feels good. I mean, I'm pretty happy right now, but if I had to cry, I would feel again. I would feel good again. Whatever the negative emotional residues are, they can float away. But anyways, coming back to my topic, these students don't know how to care for themselves because they were never taught to. So I'm personally someone who has a lot of hobbies and other interests apart from academia, which I constantly work towards and I make time for it.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, students need to have hobbies. Students need something that makes them happy, and this something should not be scrolling through social media
Yeah.
or
Browsing through Reddit infinitely.
or like shit posting on Reddit.
Yeah, doom scrolling or perhaps on Twitter.
Exactly. So we are messing up self-care with time waste, and which is why it goes ignored so easily. I know I'm stressing a lot on that topic of self-care and hobbies, but you need to make time for your hobbies and know what makes you happy, and make sure that the thing that makes you happy does not also distract you. I mean, someone can say smoking makes me happy, so I will smoke like 10 packs a day.
Yeah,
because some dude said it.
Yeah,
But that's not the point. It should be healthy. It should make you feel good. If you don't know what hobby you can do, just start exercising. That is the best advice I have
one of
gotten.
the best advice that you can give.
So that's what I think. What do
Mm.
you think about it?
In general, I think one of the points you mentioned there. Sometimes we're under so much pressure, like these JEE kids are and NEET kids are and competitive exam kids are in general, that we say to ourselves the things that we would never want other people to say to us.
Exactly.
And
That
so
is-
we become our own worst critics, or we would say things to ourselves that we would never want anyone to say to us. And when we do that, we engage in this kind of self-mutilation where we're cutting parts of ourselves again and again and again until we become so, I don't know, just so we reach such a bad position that it takes a tremendous effort for us to begin the process of healing. And so I think it's important for everyone, especially our generation, the youth, in these situations of specifically the kids who are in this competitive exam space, to know that one exam or one acceptance to IIT or rejection from IIT is not going to destroy your future. There are millions of people around the world who are living happy, fulfilled lives who did not go to IITs or
Exactly.
who did not get 99%, who earned in the 99 percentile. And
I
so,
mean, yeah. You prepared for IIT for 6 months. I prepared for 2 months. I didn't get into IIT. I didn't get into NIT. We are happy.
2 years, I think.
Yeah, I have prepared for
2
2
years, yeah.
years, and you prepared for 6 months,
Yep,
and we are happy.
exactly. Well, I'd say I'm very happy with where I am in my life right now.
Yeah, and I'm enthusiastic about my own future,
Mm.
and that's because I didn't self-destruct myself.
Mm.
I mean, I did at some point. I would be lying if I say I didn't. I did at some point, but then I realized how bad it is for myself. I started writing more. I started writing about my feelings, engaging into hobbies such as art that we discussed, and that's what has gotten me here now.
Yeah. There's this very interesting subreddit called JEENEETards.
Yeah.
And we've seen it just has the most, horrific stories of a student talking about their stresses with JEE or NEET preparation, or talking about how they feel behind in life because they're on their third or fourth or fifth drop year. Now they feel like they're never going to succeed, and if they don't make money, then X will happen or Y will happen. And then we also have इतने सारे बच्चे जिनको आत्महत्या करनी है, suicide
Yeah,
करना है.
exactly.
तो इतने सारे केसेस हैं हमारे पास, एंड ये सारा एक ही सब रेडिट में है.
Yes.
And you told me that it got to a point where there were so many suicide notes on the subreddit that the moderator said that we cannot let you post these.
We cannot approve. Yeah.
Yeah, we will delete them.
Yeah.
And that is the state of our education system in India.
Yes.
We have hundreds and thousands of kids going through the same system, and so many of them want to kill themselves. So, can you talk more about the subreddit and this entire situation?
Yeah. So naturally, when I used to get a doubt, like a general doubt, not an academics related doubt, I used to go around on internet looking for an answer, and I came across this subreddit. And I realized that most of the students don't know about enough coping mechanisms, like we talked before. So these students post their problems or try to let themselves out by something that can be as simple as a Ryan Gosling meme.
Yeah.
or just writing about their whole frustration with their life or their monotonous life because of coaching institutes, how their life does not feel good enough after they took a drop year, or how they are frustrated with their parents because their parents are apparently too toxic and they do not care enough about the kid's mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, they care for the kid, but not for the mental health. They tell him to study, but they also do not tell him to take care of himself.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for using him pronouns. I mean, I'm trying to generalize. So
Him, her, yeah.
yeah,
Women and men.
students,
Young students.
yeah, these students are not taught how to take care of themselves. That is again my point. So this subreddit, it has gotten to a point where it can be the most depressing place you go to. Once I got into college, I left the subreddit because it has a lot of negativity on it. Students become frustrated. Students start hating on other students. They bring up the topic of reservations just because they are frustrated.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this subreddit. But this is where attention is needed.
Yeah.
And these students need good coping mechanisms. Of course, you can talk about your problems on online communities, and it is a good way to, I guess, let yourself out. But again, there are deeper problems to that thing. So that's what I feel.
Interesting. So this subreddit, although a lot of students use it as a place to bond, as a place to vent out their frustrations with JEE and the competitive exam nature of India, it can very quickly become toxic because there's so many people with mental health issues on this platform.
Exactly.
And so its negativity can quickly absorb you as well.
And I mean, yes, also that. And on the contrary, there were also good people. I have met and talked to good people over there who actually give good, genuine entrance exam related advice. Maybe it can be a senior, just someone who is in a better state of, who is in a better mental health state, or who is doing good in their preparation and wants to help others. So this is a good side of it. But yeah, there are a lot of suicidal students over there who just constantly or very easily joke around about wanting to die.
Yeah, that's very sad.
And while I mean, we are also in a society where suicide is so normalized.
Exactly. So many kids these days, young kids.
We constantly. I think I had heard this about in a TED talk, how generalized suicide has become, and we do not realize how fucked up it is when people like joke about wanting to kill themselves. It is not as simple as I cannot do this, I want to kill myself. People let it out so normally and so easily, but it's not as simple as that. We know.
Exactly. The JEE as well, 6 months.
Wow.
And I was an IB kid, so I did the IB board, not IGCSE, CBSE, which are the most common boards in India.
Yes.
And usually IB kids are of the richer side. So I do come from a wealthier family than your average Indian kid. And so while I didn't have that much pressure to get into an IIT because my plans were going abroad, I did get a taste of what it's like to be in that competitive environment, and I did see my batchmates, the amount of stress they would go through. So there's probably a kid watching this, right? Maybe high school mein hai wo, school mein hai, high school, American terminology, I hate when people use it. The school mein hai wo 11वीं 12वीं में, and they're watching this video, and वो भी JEE क्लियर कर रहे हैं, NEET claim कर रहे हैं, and they're very stressed, and they're going through all of the things that we've talked about. What's one thing that you would like to say to them as someone who's done the JEE, who did not get into the IIT because of whatever, who did not choose the IITs, and who is here at Ashoka, one of the most expensive universities, the most expensive university in India. Yeah. So statistically, Atharva should not be here, but he is. So what's something that you would like to say to that kid?
Well, I know it is a very generalized advice, but entrance exam is definitely not everything. I have judged myself long enough, and I have been. Now I can see the general reaction that will come to this this statement that exams are not everything, and I'm saying this because I do not know what the struggle is like, but I exactly know how the struggle is like, and I know how cliche it can feel to hear this advice. But if you're ever stressed out, suicidal, anxious, if you're shaking before your before your coaching entrance exam, then you have some problems and you need to address them by asking. I mean, I'm saying it in a very general perspective.
Yeah.
You have some underlying problems that you need to address that you are constantly ignoring. You should realize that entrance exams are not everything, and they also do not determine how good you are as a person or how well you will do in your life.
Yeah.
Let's say you waste let's take the worst case example. You take 2 drop years and
Let's
you
do
do not
3 drop years, because there are a lot of students who take 3 drop years.
okay. Yeah, it is common in NEET to take 3 drop years. So let's say you take 3 drop years, you don't get into a good college, you do some degree, and easily 6 to 7 years of your life are apparently wasted according to the society.
Yep.
And how you tell yourself that they are wasted. It doesn't, but the average human lifespan is more than 80 years. 6 years are wasted. Let's say you are 20, you are 26, you feel a little lost, but does that mean that your whole life will go down the drain?
Of course.
I mean,
not.
it is very philosophical that I'm talking about this right now, but basically my advice is that you need to start loving yourself.
Yeah.
Students need to start loving themselves and making themselves aware if there's an issue that they need to address it through means of, I don't know, journaling, like we talked, hobbies, or just whatever makes them happy. You need to find that out.
Yeah. Or maybe just even exercise, moving,
Yeah.
get your body moving.
Yeah, that is the most basic advice or the most helpful advice
Yeah.
I have ever heard. Even I tried exercising and it felt amazing.
Right. So entrance exams aren't everything, and there's a lot more to life than just one entrance exam, then one college, then one degree, and then one job. And it's important not just to understand that in principle, but to also see live examples of people who made it through the other end. Like we have Atharva.
Yeah.
We have so many other people. So I think that's what I'd like to tell the kids from my standpoint.
And
that's what
yeah,
Atharva trying to say
also
as well.
this does not mean that you stop preparing. do the entrance exam, bro. You need to.
The next thing you know, we release the podcast. JEE के सारे applicants 50% से नीचे आ रहे हैं.
Yeah, and there's got like 1 million views.
हम आज तक में हैं.
Yeah.
आज तक ऐसे लौंडे कभी आए नहीं जिनने बोला कि JEE के लिए पढ़ो मत. और अब इंडिया का एजुकेशन सिस्टम is in ruins because of Atharva and Vedant.
Wow. Very interesting. But yeah, this does not mean you do not need to prepare or you need to stop caring. But you don't care too much. There is a problem of over caring.
Or don't instead place it on such a high pedestal and make it everything in your life.
Yes.
And that was my phone.
Okay.
But yeah. Thank you, Atharva.
Thanks a lot.
Time. And यार बहुत मजा आया.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Cut. All good shit. ये बोलना बोल दे end में आएगा और
yeah, and I hope to see you guys again.